It was hybrid. I want to talk a little bit about that in a second, but that's that. I mean, take away all of the other things that weren't really to your liking, but the fuel economy.
Yeah, the fuel economy was great.
Exceptional.
But my thing is, would it be beneficial for, let's say, 4 people live in the same town and work at the same office, and they've got a journey of about 20 miles, which is normal in the UK. Would it be better for them all 4 to drive one of those Suzuki Swifts each, or to share a Range Rover?
Oh, that is a great question.
Because 4 cars on the road adds to the congestion, which adds to waiting times at lights, and engines are running for no reason. People are uncomfortable in these cars, they're stressed, the sort of mod cons inside don't really exist, so it's not an ideal experience. Or 4 of them in a Range Rover. Now, I'm not vouching for a Range Rover, I was just trying to think of an extreme example. Comfortable. That means there's then 3 less cars on the road.
Yeah.
Is that better than, how do you win? Like, we've got a new supermarket up near us where we live here, and there's reserved spaces for carpooling and van pooling.
Really?
There's everyone in them.
Yeah.
But would carpooling be more beneficial than
maybe
everyone driving a smaller car?
Yeah.
I'm not sure which way that would go. But
tell me about the hybrid nature of this Suzuki Swift. How'd you like that?
Well, it was a mild hybrid. The good thing about it was...
What do you mean mild hybrid?
So it wasn't plug-in.
Okay. So it was self-charge.
Self-charge.
See, I love those.
Which is the best way to go. Yeah. The plug-in ones are a problem, right? As you found out in the Bayou.
What's the point?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I like but it was never just motor. It was never just electrics. It was always assist.
So was the actual petrol engine smaller than usual?
It was a 1 litre engine. That was always running.
Oh no.
It was always on.
4 people. At least your children are still small. 2 adults, 2 children, maybe a bit of luggage, a 1 litre engine.
Yeah, at one point I was doing 80 miles an hour.
Okay. Downhill?
It took about 14 days to get to it, but yeah.
Okay.
So, no, I mean...
It must have just sounded incredible as it's spooling out, though.
Well, there was no spooling on it.
Is it CVT as well?
It was manual.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So, it was all right to drive, to be fair, in that respect.
That wasn't fun.
It was painfully underpowered the odd time that the roads were open for you to actually try and do that, but you don't really notice the lack of power in the car, that type of car at least anyway in the UK on the roads there. So it wasn't too bad, and you're not surrounded by 4-inch lifted pickups and patrols and stuff like that. So you're not too daunted by the task of trying to get up to speed on the motorway. It's fine. And all of the stretches of motorway that we went on were all under roadwork, so they're all down to 50 miles per hour average speed checks anyway, so it's fine.
Did you lose any space on the interior because of battery placement?
I couldn't say that because I'd never driven a normal Swift. It did feel quite tight and cramped, so possibly.
Do you ever see any Swifts coming into Powerworks here?
No.
That says a lot.
There's not many on the road here, but you do see the odd one or two.
Yeah.
But we don't get many come in here. I mean, like I say,
I can't imagine they break down too often.
They're reliable. We get the odd Vitara, just slightly bigger one. Not seen any Jimneys or anything like that. But, they are out there. Well, like I say, that's probably why the quality of the infotainment was so bad, because it's old stuff because they just can't sell it.
Or the old stuff works, why replace it?
Yeah, exactly.
Why invest in a whole bunch of new tech when we've got old tech that works perfectly fine?
Yeah, that's right. No, I agree. It's just one of those. But like the hybrid side of it, it was fun playing the game on the screen. We probably should be driving, I guess, but paying attention to the road. But playing the game on the screen of making sure that you try and watch the battery gauge go full and keep the battery full.
It becomes an obsession. Anyone who's driving a hybrid, especially a self-charging hybrid that just regenerates off the motor, you start doing that. You start playing the maximization game, and you just want to. You're always watching your dash. You're always watching that.
There's no way that was serendipitous either. The designers know the psychology of a human being.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
The same as when you're driving we used to do the competitions, me and DJ, when we're driving our cars at home with the diesels and try and get the miles per gallon as high as possible. That's unnecessary information for anybody.
Yeah.
Miles per gallon.
Yeah.
And I remember I had it on my 990 Golf GTI. Who wants miles per gallon on a Golf GTI in 1990? but it was on there on the MFA, and it was just they know what people are going to be like.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
oh man. So overall assessment of this Swift that you drove for 3 weeks?
I'd never ever buy one.
No.
And we're going to go back in December as well for Christmas, and we're going to rent from the same people again. And if they say it's a Suzuki Swift, I'll ask them for something else, even if we have to pay a little bit more.
Well, I wonder if you can put in a little request leading up to it and just say, hey,
Yeah, well, we'll probably actually just say we want something large, unless the medium offering is not the Swift.
Right.
So, I mean, we got everywhere we needed to go. It wasn't the comfortable drive it could have been in something else, but beggars can't be choosers. We can't afford to go and rent a Mercedes or...
Car rentals are still, the rental price is still through the roof.
Yeah.
Crazy.
That would have been the equivalent of, for 3 weeks, that would have been the equivalent of nearly 4,000 dirham.
That's a lot of money.
Yeah.
A lot of money. Joey Woo had a rental, as you saw.
Yeah.
He was driving a Buick. We don't get Buicks here.
No.
But he was driving a Buick, basically a Chevy Trax, whatever the Buick was called. He didn't like it. He didn't like it at all. He wasn't happy about anything with that car.
No. Which, as a GM guy.
Yeah. He was like, whoa. He didn't even like the radio.
No.
And it was kind of weird because he did have his gimbal, but I wasn't quite sure how the left hand was adjusting the radio with the right hand holding the gimbal, and he's on the 407, and he's doing 119 kilometers an hour in the fast lane navigating. I wasn't sure how he was demonstrating this, but
it's got white line assist
for sure.
Forward radar assist and everything.
I had a good friend of ours, Captain Steve Braden, was sharing his story with a brand new F-150, not a Lightning, but a Laredo. And he was saying the amount of AI tools on that Ford, from literally, it'll drive itself. He said it just incredible. It's an incredible machine.
The technology's been around for a long, long time.
Yeah, it's getting better.
And it's becoming more and more accessible now.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know. Well, at what point, I was watching the second Neuralink patients awake and alive now. And
I haven't been following that at all.
So I listened to a podcast with the first guy on Joe Rogan.
Could he pronounce words properly still?
So he was all normal.
Yeah.
And I mean, he's quadriplegic, but he was able to play video games and exist.
Yeah.
More in a virtual world, obviously, but he can't. But it's not going to cure his necessarily now.
But he could interact But
the second guy, the second test subject, if you like, or recipient, whatever you want to describe it as, he's like, the videos of him playing video games and doing stuff, and it's like, wow.
He's like cyborg.
He's like superhuman. Apart from his physical incapabilities at the moment, again, that could change. One of the problems I think they were saying is, obviously, and the first recipient of it was saying that the atrophy in his muscles, it's almost impossible for, even if they could figure out how to get his nerves working with it.
Well, I guess that's where it goes with an exoskeleton. And,
exactly.
You get fitted with the exoskeleton, and I'm going out, and you make it look human-like.
Yeah.
Put some clothes on it. No one's going to know.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
interesting.
If you add AI to a Neuralink to a self-driving car,
imagine.
Where does it end?
Yeah.
At what point?
Terminator. We're talking Terminator.
I mean, the sort of conspiratorial worry inside of that is, if you had the capability of having the AI program that would make human beings, quote unquote, do what's right for the planet, let's say, in general. And that program was then what controlled Neuralink, and there was more and more, uptake to Neuralink, which, unfortunately, just like a mobile phone, just like if you didn't have a Filofax in the 80s, you were at a disadvantage as soon as the mobile phones came. Think about the people that were trading when mobile phones came out, that were able to do day trading and minute trading because they had a phone and they could call someone and say sell.
Yeah.
Whereas the guy that bought the shares at the same time as him who didn't have a phone, he lost out on a sale because he couldn't get there to do it quickly enough. The advantage that a mobile phone gives somebody, Neuralink's going to be the same, right?
Yeah.
So if everyone starts to uptake it, at what point do we then become controllable, if you like, directly controllable, and willing participants in that because we don't know any different?
Imagine. Yeah, there's a lot of ethics.
Yeah, I mean,
have to be worked out here.
There's Ford. Ford now have a system in their software. They have the capabilities of, if you're driving your vehicle and you are speeding, that will send a report to the police.
Well, I think it should be, and I've been saying this for years. And again, RTA, UAE, you guys got to jump on this. We have now all of our vehicles pretty much are connected to some system. Everyone's using Waze, everyone's using Google Maps, and even if we're not using them, they're passively on in our cars.
Yeah.
So why isn't our speed governed based on the roads? So you're driving in a residential section, your car will not go above 50 kilometers an hour. You're driving on Sheikh Zayed Road, your car will not go above 100 kilometers an hour. Oh, now you got to the 140 zone in Abu Dhabi. Now you can do 140, which actually is an interesting one, because if there's a stretch of road on the, I want to say 311. I always get them all confused because they keep changing the numbers. But there's a stretch of road in Abu Dhabi on the 311 where you need to be going between 120 and 140. And if you're going 117, you get a ticket.
Yeah, low speed.
Yeah.
Yeah. That is 311.
I started sweating when I saw that sign. I was driving last week to Abu Dhabi myself. I usually don't. I usually take a shuttle from the university. Much more efficient. It's 3 hours of time I can be on email or
and you're going to pay the fines.
And these guys know where all the things are, and they're driving at 139 kilometers an hour. So I'm driving though, and I'm like sweating, going, I got to make sure I'm within the zone. I usually never drive much past 120, and here I am, well above 120 because I just don't want to get fined. It was stress.
You couldn't take the Swift. Basically, what I'm saying is you can't take a Swift hybrid from here to Abu Dhabi.
Well, so the whole point of this conversation, where this all came, is why it can't be governed, why we aren't checking that out here. I think we should.
Well, you've got to think about when the aliens land, you need to escape. But the other problem with it is, the technology's there to do that. That's not difficult. My Google Maps, if I open Google Maps and set start on the direction, it tells me my exact speed.
Exactly, and it's pretty spot on these days. It's got a lot better.
That can mirror to the car. Yeah. The technology's there. It's not difficult. I think there are a couple of sort of civil liberties issues, shall we say. Also, there's the fact that what happens if it malfunctions? Yeah.
Well, yeah.
That's also a consideration. And also, people just remove it anyway.
Yeah, for sure.
People just remove it anyway. And it's like one of those, then if you've got it on there and you remove it and you get caught speeding, you say, well, the car was supposed to stop me.
Yeah. Anywhere else but here, that would work.
Yeah.
I want to jump back in. Batteries. Oh, man. 2 weeks. I mean, I know you're laughing because I gave you the call, and I guess I could have called Batteries or us, but I thought, I'll just, and I thought I'd made it. I know so I drive 2 Wranglers, and they both have had batteries changed at different times, thank goodness. And I was certain that the yellow one still had life in it. Then when I went back and did the calculation, it was 18 months. Well, Monday morning, I love this story because I did send you a message on my way to Abu Dhabi. Monday morning, going to Abu Dhabi. I catch a 7 o'clock shuttle from the university. I live by the airport. 15-minute drive. 6:30 in the morning, I go to the yellow Jeep. It had been driving. It's 2 weeks I've been driving it. Been back 2 weeks. It's driving it. Click, it turns over. It's beautiful. Monday morning, I go out 6:30, get into it. It's hot. It's humid. It's a typical day this time of year. Click. Nothing. And I'm thinking, oh no, this can't be. And I look over, because, then you got the power, and I look over at the radio. It's not on anything. I'm going, you gotta be joking. So I managed to push it out. Almost hit a bus because it started rolling, and it got away from me. Thank goodness it was early in the morning. Get it to work, park it in backwards, thinking, I don't want to go wake up the wife. I don't want to, she wasn't back at work yet. I don't want to do that. So get it to work, back it in, and then make the call to you guys saying, like, any chance you can get over here and put a new battery in it? I'm not home until 5 o'clock, so there's a lot of time. If not, and I always told you, if not, no worry, I'll call the batteries or guy, or get someone to jump me, and then get one on the way home at one of the garages. But oh man, batteries, they just go. There was no warning on this. I mean, truth be told, it was a little bit weaker of a crank, but there's a lot of reasons for that.
Yeah. I mean, they don't like the heat, right? They just don't like the heat. It's just a simple thing.
It's 2 weeks, it's working fine. It was working fine the day before. Then, nothing.
The worst one's when you drive to the shop and go in for a bottle of milk and come out and it won't start.
Yeah.
We went away. We went away on a little break a couple of weekends ago, and I'm rushing to get home. I'm late because it's a Friday and it's manic. And I get home, quick shower, go back out, and she's like, "We're going in the van." Yeah, no problem. Chuck everything in the van. Go to start it. Click. Oh.
And it's your own vehicle.
Luckily, we live on a bit of a hill, so I just rolled it backwards and bumped it in reverse, which is not the advisable way to do it, by the way. But in manual, you can.
At least I miss those days with a manual.
Yeah,
but they just go out of nowhere.
Yeah, and then on Sunday, we went to. So I then did. So this is a different van. On Sunday, we went to the Mall of the Emirates and they did a 10K, a 5K, and a 2.5K run indoors.
Okay.
I did the 10K run. Got back in the car. We all went home. I'm looking after the girls, and I say, "Come on, guys, we'll go to the shop." Went to the shop, went in. We got a couple of little things, nothing urgent, pencils and rulers and stuff for the school bags. Came back out, click.
So what did you do? Get the girls to push you from the front?
I just pushed it again. The car park's a little bit of an incline, so we just managed to push it and bumped it again.
But
that was Sunday, and it's like
another vehicle.
I've got to take him to school in the morning.
Yeah. And so then you're starting to sweat because, okay, I got to get the battery in this thing. I mean,
so in the space of 3 weeks, that was 2 batteries in 2 vehicles, and we've got cars left, right, and centre here and in DIP that are the same. Where it's
I also had the tire one. I mean, my tires were going this year. I mean, I knew they were going. They were 3 years old. They were 3 years is pretty good. I mean, these were Pearlies. I love Pearlies. They're Chinese tires. They're great, but they got about a 3-year lifespan.
Yeah.
And you get what you pay for. So, hey, that's fine. Wife's driving it. No visible issues, really. Wife's driving it. She phones up and says, it's vibrating like crazy at about 60 kilometers an hour. I'm taking all the back roads and I'm going really slow because she said at 50 or 60, it doesn't vibrate. But at 80, and I'm thinking, it's the power steering assembly again. It's that shit.
Oh, yeah.
That's, I mean, the way she described it, I'm going, that sounds like what it is.
Yeah.
It must be really bad for that. Bring it in. DJ takes a look at it because I get it sent over, and he takes a look and he says, "Dude, your tires, you got 2 bulging spots. You're lucky they didn't blow." And I was like, that was a whole thing. They were fine before the summer. I mean, it was in the garage. You guys saw it. You guys did a front end alignment on it. No one noticed anything. Summer heat, tires sitting baking on the pavement that gets to be, it might be 52 or it might be let's say it's 48. It never goes much about 48. It's 48 on the official thermometer, but it's on paving stones that are baking.
Yeah.
Tires just get destroyed.
The tires are black.
Yeah.
Black likes to absorb a lot of heat.
Yeah. So, I got hit with tires too.
Yeah. Pretty normal summer hit list.
It's like, oh man.
Yeah. It's just that time of year. Like say you're looking around in the workshop, it's the same thing.
Yeah.
We had an unfortunate one in DIP, which was a GTI that came in and battery issue, but it wasn't actually the battery. What happened was the negative lead had it was corroded away on the terminal through a leak. So we got a new negative lead for it and put a battery on it, started it, AC not working.
Oh no. No, that's a trifecta.
Yeah, luckily all that had happened, it had a leak.
Okay.
But it's like, what do you do there?
It's nothing worse than when you get into a vehicle. It's 45 degrees centigrade. It's humid, and at 45, those air conditioning units are struggling.
Yeah.
With the humidity and that temperature, and it's nothing worse than you're stopped at a set of lights. And you feel that it's still cold, but it's not as cold as when I'm driving.
Yeah.
All you're thinking is, oh no, please, please don't be going.
Yeah. No, that's right. I mean, you drive the vehicle without AC in this temperature, and it's obviously hotter inside than it is outside.
Man, I've got no windows in the Jeep right now, but I I did take the side windows out a couple days ago. And this morning, as I was getting in, going, I might put those side windows, the driver and passenger side door windows back in. I didn't, but when I'm stopped at a set of lights, I got the AC blowing on me.
Yeah,
a little cold wind, because driving it's okay.
Yeah,
but stopped, it's deadly.
Yeah. Deadly. It's very, very hot. Very, very difficult to drive a car without AC.
Yeah,
that's for sure.
You see someone with the windows open.
Used to do it like 30, 40 years ago.
Well, that's what I always say. I'm driving authentic Emirati style here, and people, even though the Emiratis look at me and go, "Yeah, that's what my grandfather used to drive," and I'm not doing it.
Yeah, I mean, like we've I used to work for AAA, and Frank, the GM of the place, is from Scotland. Anyone that knows anything about Scotland knows it's never warm. And he and his wife came over in the 70s, and he bought her a car that had no AC in it. Yeah. And she worked in a hospital, and she used to drive to and from the work every single day with no AC, all year round. You know, this was when he'd just come over here. He wasn't having his full summers off when he was GM. When he was GM, sorry. They were working through the summer, and you do wonder. Yeah. You do wonder about it.
Air conditioning in cars was a luxury item. When I'm thinking back in the 70s and 80s, I remember driving. So I get out your atlases again. So we're in Saskatoon, Saskatchewan, which is the middle of Canada. Hard to spell, easy to draw. Go and look at your atlas, and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. And we're going from Saskatoon to Kuroki, population maybe 1,000 people. And I don't know, a couple hour drive. And we're in a Cutlass, two-door, big giant back window. It is hot. It's the summer. It's the prairie. So we're talking, it's probably 30 and you're on the highway. It's a heat wave, no air conditioning. We're lucky. So what do you got? You got the fan blowing from the heater. Yeah. No heat, but you got the fan blowing. It's just blowing hot air.
Hot air in.
Oh, I remember. You get out, you're just soaked. Yeah. It's much like here.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I've PDI'd cars as late as 2012 that weren't spec'd with AC. Brand new VWs that weren't spec'd with AC in the UK. It was the last 10 years really where it's become pretty much every car will have it, and it's that's just the way it is, because it's relatively cheap to put on a car now. It didn't used to be, and also it's more economical to run a car with the AC on than windows down. So for the 4 days a year in the UK where you need the AC, but most people just put the windows down and have the AC on anyway.
Exactly. Why not?
It's a waste of time. So,
Glenn, it's time to pack things up. It's been a great podcast. Thank you very much. We'll do it all again real soon. The folks over at 100.3, the home of news, sport, conversation. Yes, this podcast is also heard on the radio. Go believe it. That's amazing. Podcasts on the radio, but it is the case. However you're watching us, give us a like, give us a share, send some comments through, and we'll respond. Do it all again really, really soon. Thank you very much. My name is James Piecowye. He is
Glenn Power.
And this is the Powerworks Podcast.